yọ àfikún àtìròyìn lágbára fáwọn operation boss dáyẹ́tẹ̀ ìwéré ilé àtàgbà rẹ̀ ó fi kún agbára ẹ̀rọ ayélujára bí òwìwí gbàwòrán àṣẹlẹ̀ pàjáwìrì sílẹ̀ ńbàdàn commissioning of mobile squadron unit lágbára rẹ̀ ó dáwọ́lé múgbòòrò ètò ọrọ̀ ajé nípínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ nípasẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ farm of estates lákùfò èrúwà àti láwẹ́ pínpín ohun ọ̀gbìn fẹ́gbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá àgbẹ̀ asphalt and equipment níjàyè fífọwọ́síwé mi ni mo ní nǹkan mi sí ọ̀fọ̀ lóṣù péréte ẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ mílíọ̀nù fún dènà covid-19 àbítọ̀nà dají road lautech fẹ́kùn inspection center ìdíàpẹ́ ọ̀nà amáníyà ìjàyè sísẹ́yìn àtàwọn agbègbè dágbègbè níbàdàn ó gbówó oṣù ọdún mẹ́rin kalẹ̀ fún ṣiṣẹ́fẹ̀yìntì àwọn olùkọ́ gbogbo ọ̀ọ́dúnrún ṣiṣẹ́ dádúró lọ́nà àìtọ́ ló gbà padà tó sì ń sanwó wọn déédéé abẹ́ gbáriwo ó káṣọ ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́ta owó tóbi ń san ẹ̀kọ́ dọ̀fẹ́ ó kún ìwò tún kíláàsì ṣe ó fa lautech padà di tìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ àtúnṣe pẹ̀lú ohun èlò fún ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé lọ́pọ̀ bíi mélòó láwà ká tábọ́ ara ẹni tí ń pẹ̀gàn ìjọba Ṣèyí Mákindé má pẹ̀lú ọ̀bọ̀jẹ̀kọ̀ ohun gbogbo tí ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ ní ẹja jọ wò.
Ọ̀yọ́ State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism.
As a people with one song, with one voice, we're a nation undivided and voice. We will take a stand and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. We're freedom rise and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise.
Hello, good morning. This is Business and Life series on Aloore Radio, transmitting from GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. Now you can join us on our social media handle. On Facebook is www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. On YouTube it's just Aloore Radio. Now our website is www.alooreradio.com. Then you can call our numbers. So let me just read one for you: 09039853731. My name is Azan Dibilawale, and today I'll be talking on the principles of branding. Yeah, you heard me right. The principles of branding. Now you might be asking yourself, questions like, what is a brand? What does it entail to have a brand? What are the perception of my brand when people look at it? What is it? What does it contain? Because people have said many things about branding, brand names, brand title, brand identity. So today we'll be going in depth into branding. So let me start from here. When you ask a question like, what is a brand? The first thing to do is to know what brand is not. That's the first thing. Because with this method of elimination, we will know that branding is not some things we thought it was. So from here, we can begin to deduce what branding is from what branding is not. Okay, so let's move on. The first one I'm going to say is that a brand is not a logo. A brand is not a logo. You know, we see people say things like, that is the brand, and what they point to is the logo of a company. And you'll be wondering, no, this is not the brand, this is the logo of a company. Now, let me just go into it a little bit. A logo is a short form of the word logotype, and designers use that word logo to replace the word trademark. What a businessman call the trademark of a company is what a designer will call the logo of a company. So the logo is not the brand. The logo is just a symbol for the brand, because the logo, the word logo is a Greek word from what we call word. So that means the logo is like an emblem or an image representing the word of the company, right? So that means a logo is not the brand. The logo is just the symbol for the brand. So now that we know that a logo is not a brand, next time you see a logo, you are going to know that that is not the brand, that is the symbol for the brand. So when you see a logo, you say, this is this logo, this is the logo of this company. You don't say this is the brand. It is not the brand, it's just the symbol for the brand. Okay, now number two. I've heard people say this a lot when they go to the supermarket, the grocery shop to buy stuff. They will tell you that I want to buy this brand, I want to buy that brand, I want to buy that brand. Now, what you are buying from these places are products, not brands. What you are buying is a product of a company, not a brand. So when you want to get something next time, you want to go to the grocery shop, you are buying a product of a company, because most of the time the company has a name and the product has another name, right? So it shows that what you are buying is the product of that company, not the brand. You're not buying the brand, you're buying the product of a company. So when you go anywhere to go to buy anything, what you're going to buy is the product of a company, not the brand. Okay, now number three. Now, this third one is something that, when it comes to marketing and stuff like that, this is the one people really deal with a lot. People will tell you that the impression you make on a customer is the brand you're creating. No. Yeah, obviously, impressions to a brand is key, because you have to make an impression of what you are selling to a customer, right? That is very true. But the impression you're making is not the brand. The truth is, impressions are very, very useful. These are useful tools to sell your company, to do a lot of things with the company. But the impression you sell is not a brand. Now that we know that a logo is not a brand, it is just a symbol for the brand. A product is not a brand, it is just a product a company produces, hoping that when customers use this product, they are going to continue to patronize the product of the company. And now we know that an impression a company or a person makes about a product is not the brand. What is a brand? So now we've eliminated the fact that a logo is not a brand, a product is not a brand, an impression a person makes as touching a brand is not the brand. What is a brand? Okay, now let's move on. A brand is a result. I'm going to say that again. A brand is a result. It is a customer's gut feeling about a product, a service, or a company. Let me repeat myself. A brand is a result, not a process, not even the starting point. A brand is a result. It is a customer's gut feeling about a product, a service, or a company. Let me just simplify what I just said. A brand is the image your product or your service or your company creates in a customer's mind. So that means the perception a person has about your product, about your service, about your company is the brand of the company. When a person says, oh, I like this product because of this. So the thing that person just said is the brand of your company. So the person is telling you his own perception about your company. He's telling you the perception he has about your company. It's not telling you the image you have created in the person's mind. Now that is very, very interesting. Why is it interesting? Because people have different characteristics, different characters, different personality, different identity. So it means that the way people perceive your brand is gonna be based on their own personality. It's gonna be based on their own, perception about you. So what does that mean? That means that you are not creating one brand, you are creating many brands. That's what it means. It means that the personality a person carries is going to determine how the person sees your brand. Is that true? That's very, very, very true, and it is key. That is why I just said earlier that an impression is not a brand. But there's something I would say now that would really help us. You cannot control the process of people's perception about you, but you can influence it. Right? You cannot control the process of how a person sees your brand, how a person perceives your brand, but you can influence it. Now let me go a little into this. How do you influence a person's brand? You influence it by what? By the impression you make about your company. You influence this. You influence your company's name, the name, the reputation, the product, by the impression you make about a company. And this is split. This can be split into many ways. But before I go into this way, let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
She tell me say na only me they make her love. Tell me say na only me they cool her stress. She tell me say na only me she want. She tell me say na me they make her calm. She tell me say that me they keep her warm. She tell me say na only me they make her feel alright. Yeah, she tell me say na only me they make her feel alright. After the baby me and my baby, yeah, we cuddle every night. She they ride it like a bike, riding 1,000 miles. Steady while she riding and she gentle when she ride. These guy wine fi make my one fight. This one you show me when they pass my eye. Where the matter was, baby, she no like it, I don't nothing. But she go chop on if you give her cucumber.
DJ Hoppy does love you.
She can with a locumba. Baby, make her give you solid. Make her even mix some with a lay and I walk pow. Hey, wait, let me tell you. She dey feel and da 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 da. She dey feel and da 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 da. She dey feel and da 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 da. She dey feel and da 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 da. She say till infinity, till infinity, infinity, infinity. Yo yo yo. She say make her put it in, make her put it in, put it in, put it in. No no no. She say till infinity, yo, infinity, infinity, yo, infinity, yo. She say make her put it in, make her put it in, put it in, put it in. No no no.
We are take Alahuska, cover me like babushka. Booty like Tokemakiwa, and your body you different animal. Sangalo me like a JJ, make I beat on like I'm Sonny Wiki. It's what you do with the banana. Go determine if you go get us for banana. Very much show yourself, do what you do. Use Kayamata, you feel use Juju. They don't play me your tape for until
DJ Hoppy does love
you.
Okay, welcome back from that short commercial break. Now we've been talking about branding, so I'm going to do a small recap of what I've said before. Now we've just established the fact that a brand is not a logo, that's just a symbol for the brand. A brand is not a product, that is a product that was put into the market by a company, and a brand is not an impression a person makes about a product, a company, or a service on the customer. And we've just said that a brand is the image that is created in people's mind about a product, a service, and a company. And where I stopped last time was that I said that you cannot control the process of the perception of people's or of a person about your company, but you can influence it. Now I'm going to mention some areas like the tools that define a brand. The tools that define a brand, these are the places you should look into that will determine the perception of people about your product, your service, and your company. Now let me start with one. Now I'm going to start with the one that is going to be inside your company before we go outside. Now, if your company has a location, like you have a space, you do your you do your work and you do your you do activities, the first thing you should look out for is the decoration of the company. How does the company look like? Is it visually appealing? Is it comfortable for a customer to come in and interact with you guys? The decoration of the company, the website of the company, the signage of the company. These are tools you should look out for that defines a brand. The decoration of the company, the ambience. Are you selling yourself right? These are things that people don't really look out for because they believe, since I've put my product out there and my product is selling, I'm doing well. What if the customer has some complaints, some suggestion, and they want to come over to your location, the location of your company, and have some conversations with you? Are they going to be there and they're going to just feel awkward about coming around? So the decoration of your company is important. What if they said, okay, I can't be there physically, but I want to come, I want to check your website and send my suggestion or my complaint on the website? Is it functional? Is it visually appealing? These are things you should look out for because these are the tools that defines your brand. Number 3, the signage. How does your signage look like? Number 4, the messaging. Do you have a system of messaging? Do you have a system whereby they can chat you guys up and check you out? And is the response okay? Is it immediate? Is it going to take a time? Is it going to take a while rather? Is it going to cost them to call in? The messaging. So these are things we need to look out for. Now the product. Now let me talk a little bit about this. We all know toothpaste, right? So imagine you selling an herbal toothpaste. Now I said herbal toothpaste, and the color, I'm still going to do that's in a while, and the color of the toothpaste is blue or red, but you call the toothpaste a herbal toothpaste. And you know that when it comes to herbal, you're talking about green, you're talking about eco-friendly, you're talking about nature. That's why you will see that any toothpaste that is called a herbal toothpaste will sell better when it has a touch, or even when it has a green color as the product, as the packaging of the product. It is always better to follow all these principles because these are the things that are going to help you sell to your market, right? Because you having a toothpaste that you've portrayed as herbal and it's having a red color, it's having a blue color, it's not going to sell that product. But when it has a green color, because what you buy and who you buy from is really, really dependent on how you emotionally perceive that product. Now, there's something called color psychology in branding. And what is color psychology? It is just the study of color in relation to human emotions. Naturally, when people see the color green, they're going to think of nature, eco-friendly, restoration, wealth, something like this. So you know that when it comes to you selling an herbal product, it has to have a touch of green, or even you're supposed to make sure everything around it is green. That's the product we use at home now. That toothpaste, even the paste itself has a green color. So they are making sure you are emotionally attracted to the product because of what they portrayed it to be. They portrayed it to be a herbal product and they make sure everything about it is talking about nature, it's talking about green. So once you are using this product, you are going to know, even if they lie to us that it's an herbal product, but because of the way you emotionally perceive the product, you are going to think that that product has a herbal benefit to you, right? So that is going to sell the product the more, because now you are now appealing to them emotionally. Product. Now, what part of the tools that define a brand is the logo of the brand. The logo of the brand. This is a very wild topic, a very, very wild topic, because if you understand identity design, you will know that a logo is part of what you are selling. A logo is part of what you are selling. If you look at the big brands that even let's go into fashion a little bit. If you look at the big brands, the way they sell their logo is something that you need to look into. They put their logo almost in all their products. They even fine-tune the logo to fit the product. They are making sure that the logo is always in your face. So part of the tools for branding is the logo. The logo. So you are supposed to look into all these tools and make sure you make these tools identify with your product, your service, and your company the right way. Because what I'm going to buy, it is what I emotionally perceive your product to be. That's why I'm always concerned when people want to choose, company name, company structure, and they are choosing it based on themselves. No, you are not buying what you are selling. The people that are going to buy what you sell are the members of the public, not you. So the way you perceive the product is different from the way people will perceive the product. That's why there is a system called feedback, and that is very, very important to any product, any service you render, and any company. When you have a system of feedback, you are trying to know the brand you are creating in people's mind. So a system of feedback is something that is very, very key to any company. If you are putting your product out or you are rendering a service, you should have a system of feedback, either by messaging, like I just said earlier, by calling, your website. This should be a system of feedback for you so that you can know how people emotionally perceive your product. What are the complaints they have? Have you improved of your product? What are the things they feel your product to look like? How do they perceive your product to be? So these things are something that is very, very important to how you perceive, how people perceive your product rather. So let me go into this. This one is very, very key. If you have a company where people come around and like they come around to make complaints, suggestions, even to buy your product in the company, your staff are very important. That's part of the tools that define a brand. Staff. Because your staff is going to determine people's customer experience. A person that comes to your company, how does your staff treat them? Because this is something that is very key. Are they welcoming? Do you understand? Are they welcoming? Do they appreciate people who come around? How do they respond to them? How do they reply messages? How do they work under pressure? When people are pressurizing them, how do they respond to these things? That's why sometimes it is good to always have sessions of training with your staff. And the way you're going to have this is to know the kind of product you sell. Because when you are selling product to some set of people, there is a way you relate to them. Imagine if your product are to the elderly, you should know that your staff should be very, very respectful. I know respect this with all age brackets, but when it comes to the elderly, you have to put a special importance on respect. Let me just give you one tip. When an elderly person is coming to sit at your table, the first thing you do is to stand up. Those are things that you would overlook, but those things is a sign of respect to the person that is coming to sit at your table. Once they are coming, I expect my own staff in the company to stand on their feet and welcome the person, even sometimes show the person the place to sit before he sits down. That naturally I've put the customer as a king or or queen when it comes to the product you're selling. So you're portraying your customer as a person that is of great value to the company. Staffing, the way they respond to messages, the way they answer calls, the way they reply, these are things you should look into, because we know company, especially banks, that lost customers because of the customer experience. Their customer service are very, 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 very bad. So you notice that the way people respond to those places is always awkward. They prefer just sending online messages to the bank than going there physically, because they know they won't be welcoming, right? Let me go to another tool, packaging. I've said that earlier about the Aloore product. Packaging. The way you package your brand. So imagine you're having, I'm going to just switch between some few things so that we can understand this very well. If your product is to kiddies, like into children, the packaging is very, very important. Because when it comes to children, color is very important to them. That's why you notice that even in crèche, in all these schools, startup schools, they make sure all the colors in the rainbow are around the classes, because children are always attracted to color. So that means color is something that is very important to children. So when it comes to your packaging, you should know that the color you are going to use for children has to be color that will call their attention, right? These are things that are very, very, very important. Now, the last but not the least here is customer experience. That's part of the staffing too, customer experience. So the way you treat your customer, is going to determine if they're going to come back to purchase your product or go to another place, right? So that means the customer experience is key. That's where feedback is key when it comes to branding. Feedback is very key. After they leave, that's why some service providers they do this often. After you've called into their company, or you call them for complaint or for suggestion, they will make sure they call you back after you've left the company. They call you back to appreciate your call, to appreciate you coming around, and they even advise that when you have another complaint to make, you can call this number, you can do this, you can do that. So they make sure they reach out to you even after they've been in the company to do anything. So it shows that they are trying to make sure they value the customer. So that means the customer's perception about that company is that these people value me. So everybody goes to a place where they are appreciated, right? So it means they know they are appreciated in your company. So they're coming back to make another complaint, another suggestion, another anything else. To them will be fun, because they know that when they go there, they are going to be appreciated. So they would want to come back. So that means the customer experience is very, very, very key to your brand. So now I'm going to be going through this again. The tools that define a brand. I just mentioned decoration, the website, the signage, the messaging, the product, the logo, the staff, the packaging, the customer experience. Now the one I missed out is graphics, because I'm a graphic designer, so I understand how this works. When you want to sell a product, the way the product is being presented is very, very key to selling the product. There are some things you want to see in a product, and it's going to be determined by what we call identity design. How do people perceive your product, even from your posters, even from your flyers, even from the e-flyers? Is it appealing? Are they going to resonate with the product after seeing your flyer or after seeing your poster? That's why you notice the brands who sell fashionable things like shoes, clothes, their design is always top notch, because they make sure you will want to get the product after seeing the template they've created for the new product. That's why you notice that they create different designs for different products, so that once you see this product, you know this is what we are selling, right? So these tools are the tools that really define your brand. Now next we'll be going into the question you should ask that will make you know the brand that you've created in the minds of people. So we'll be going for a commercial break right now. So when we come back, we'll check that out.
If you talk, you collect. No disconnect. Diggy, 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 diggy. I dey get cool. Diggy, 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 diggy. Badass. Diggy, 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 diggy.
DJ Hoppy does love you.
Mama piano. Mama manga back on. I be good bad boy, no choice. Been in the game not long. Shebi now we sing a come. Extraordinary things I'm doing. Ordinary things don't fi move me again. Extraordinary things I'm doing. Ordinary things don't fi move me again. No. Ṣé ohun tí o fẹ́ ṣe, kí ló fẹ́ ṣe? Ṣé ohun tí o fẹ́ ṣe, nìkan ló dé kí mi ẹ̀dẹ̀ kíkì. Ṣé ohun tí o fẹ́ ṣe, kí ló fẹ́ ṣe? Ṣé ohun tí o fẹ́ ṣe, nìkan ló dé kí mi ẹ̀dẹ̀ kíkì. Ṣé ohun tí o fẹ́ ṣe? Mo ti sọ pé mi ò gbórin olórin kan mọ́ o, but you know it's like a brother to me. If industry na iPhone, I'm just a charger to you know. Alright, you looking for me, so what you wanna do? You know that shit, and it is what it is. So do what you gonna do till you coming.
DJ Obi Dance.
Say torí mo ṣáná wọn bínú lọ́wọ́ wọn pé panápaná kó wa kaná. Wọ́n kaná mi tì, wọ́n bùgá mi tì, ó bínú ọmọ olóko náà yọ kọ́lá mi tì. It's in my fault, that every day na Christmas.
Girl, I just want me to rock. Girl, I just want me to vibe. Girl, I just want me with you like ice water. Me and my passion baby. Please spend you my paper. After tonight, I go like to see you later. Pass on a vendetta against me, cause of you I got many haters. I'm a girl, fine for your guy. Baby, waiting you define for your life. My love fair broke, nigga, fight for your life.
Okay, welcome back to Aloore Radio. We're here talking about branding. So, like I said earlier, we'll be talking about the questions to ask to know your brand. So let's start from the first question. Number one is ask people or ask yourself, what happens in people's head when they see my product, my service, or my company? Like I said earlier, I said that the image you create in people's minds is the brand you are creating. So it means that the image people have about your product or your service is the brand. So it shows that you need to know what happens in people's minds when they see your brand, when they see your when they see your product or service. Like I said earlier, I said you can override people's perception based on their personalities. By what? By making good impression about your brand. So now, once you've made that good impression, you need to know the response That's why feedback is very important. You need to know the response of the customers towards this product. Now, I've heard some about some companies that they will tell you that a product sold more than another product, even though they are the same product but just different style of the product, but one sold better. So that means you have to ask that question: what happened in people's mind when they saw this product? Why is this product not moving? Why is this one moving more than this one? So that's why sometimes I would always tell people to do this thing called word of mouth. That's what they call public relations. Send people out there, food soldiers, send them out there. What are the things they can ask the people to know? Okay, why do you prefer this product to this product? That's the only way you will know what's happening in people's mind when they see the product. Let them ask questions. Let them engage the public. Okay, on why are this having to sell this product more than this product? Why do they like this one more than this one? So from there you can know why, and you can know how to play around it to make the other product sell too. And you can make the decision on should we bring down this product and push this one more, or should we just push the two and make sure we sell them at the same pace? Because some might be that the reason why some products are not selling is because you're not pushing them at the same pace as the one that is selling. That might be the answer to the question. But you're going to find that out when you go out there and you engage your customers. So that's one question: what happens in people's head when they see your product? Now the second one is, what have you achieved by the impression you've made? Because imagine if you're a service provider and people don't come around to make complaints, but you notice that you're not seeing the influx of customers like before patronizing your product. That means there's something wrong. So that means the impression you're making is not hitting the right point. That's what it means. So it means that even if you're doing the right thing, are you portraying yourself right to the customers? Are they willing to come and patronize you? Are they going to come and make complaints, and they know that after this complaint has been made, within days, minutes, or hours, depending on what you are selling to them, this thing is going to be rectified? These are one of the things you should consider. That when they make complaints, are their complaints attended to immediately? Do they know when they will be attended to? Because I know of a state when you call them, when they call back and tell you, okay, they are going to give you a time, a speculated time where they are going to attend to that. So that means you can look forward to that time and know that when is this time, what we are trying to fix will be fixed by these people. So it shows that you've known what you achieved by getting all the information right and making sure what they need is being provided for at the time you said it will be provided for. Now let's go into the third one. What is the reputation we have created through the product and the service we are rendering? That's why sometimes it is good to know your audience. Well, we are going into that. We need to know your audience. You need to know who you are selling to, so that you will know the kind of reputation you are creating. Imagine if you are selling to the rich. There is a way you sell to the rich. You're not going to sell to the rich how you're going to sell to a market woman. Those things matter, and that's why you need to know the reputation you are creating. Are they perceiving you as a rich brand, or as a poor brand, or as a brand anyone could buy or could patronize? Those are the things you need to consider. What is the reputation you are creating? Number 4, how does our culture affect the people we sell to? Because people resonate with you based on their personalities. And what are personalities? Personalities are characteristics that differentiate people from another people, right? So it shows that the personality you're putting out there, if it resonates with them, they're going to resonate with you. But if it doesn't resonate with them, they are not going to come back. So it shows that you have to have a good culture. So the culture, and this one is really talking about staffing, your staff, the customer experience, the way they respond to customers. Those are the things that will really determine what the culture you are creating will affect the people you are selling to. Okay, now this one is related to the second, to the one I just said earlier. How do our employees behave? How do they respond to customers? It is interesting to note that most of the companies that are selling better are selling based on customer experience. Because in my church we subscribe to some service providers some times ago, and we gave them some details, some conditions to make us stay with them. All the conditions we gave them were not followed, and we had to leave. Why? Because of what the customer experience. Because you met with us, we gave you some conditions, and you guys agreed to it. You agreed to it. Then after a month, 2 months, we noticed that you were defaulting in our agreement. We had to just let you go. Why? Because the customer experience is not the right one. You agreed to something and you're not following through. That means you guys are not trustworthy. That's what it means. Because we gave you some speculations, we gave you some things to follow through, and you gave us your word that you followed them through. So these are the questions you need to ask to know your brand. And I just said earlier, feedback is something you need to look into. Everything you're going to be doing, make sure there's a feedback system for all your products, all the services you render, and make sure you have each feedback platform for each product. It's going to determine which products will sell. Because if there are many feedback on a product, it shows that you will know how to make that product sell more than the one that has low feedbacks. Because the one that has high feedback, is going to sell more. Why? Because the feedback is going to determine the trajectory you're going to follow through to make sure that that product sells. So you are getting it right because you have many information to work with, and to when you go for your strategy sections, you know what to talk about because you've gotten many feedbacks so that you can work on them and make sure you are putting yourself in the right perspective. Okay, lastly, I'll be talking about So lastly, I'll be talking about the way to make your brand pop. Let me give you the title so we can know here. So how to know that I've created the right brand. So I'm going to give you some steps to take to create the right brand. That's what we'll be stopping for today. Now the first one here is, number one, understand your audience. Understand your audience. What does this mean? You need to know the people you are selling to. What is their age bracket? What is their financial status? What is the stand of their what is their stand of living like? What can they afford? Because if you don't know these things, you're going to set the right thing to the wrong people. Because so now let's assume what you're selling is to young folks. So that means the packaging has to pop. It has to resonate with usefulness. There has to be something exciting about the packaging. An old person doesn't need something exciting to. Once they know that it is functional, they don't care about the excitement. Their own is to make sure what you are selling to me is going to affect me in a positive way. But to a young person, he wants the product to call his or her attention first before he even buys anything. So it shows that you need to understand your audience. You need to know who they are. You need to know their likes, their dislikes, their class, their gender, what they are attracted to, their hopes and dreams, their fears. These are things you need to know that will determine the person you're selling to. So that means if you want to sell your product to the youth, you know what they want. And what class of you are you selling to? Are you going to sell your product more to the male or to the female? Now let me go into colors a little bit. You should know that females like warm colors. So it shows that pink, orange will naturally resonate with the female. But male, they like the cool colors. That's why you notice when a man will want to choose color, they will choose all this navy blue, black. They like these colors because they are cool colors. So now from there you can deduce the kind of color to use for the product, because you know that if I'm selling to this class of people, these are the colors that would go with them. These are the colors they would naturally get attracted to. That means even before they use the product, the packaging is already calling them. Right? So the first thing to look into is, number one, who are the audience? Who are the people that are going to patronize me? Who are the people that are going to buy my product? So after looking into them, you're going to know the things to do to make sure the product sells to them. Number two is you defining your brand's position. There's something called branding position in branding. It's called brand positioning rather. There's something called brand positioning in branding. And what does this mean? This means you setting your company apart from the rest and defining your unique value to the customer. So it means, let me just make this one simplified. It means that what are you selling to your customers that your competitors are not selling to them? What are the things you are doing that will give you an edge over your competitors? What are the unique values you have that would differentiate you from your competitors? So these are the things that you need to really, really consider. What are you offering that the others are not offering? Or what are you offering better than the others? Now, the way to identify this, I will tell people two methods. The first thing you do is to identify